Welcome to Unleashed. Nobody saw that, Andrew, because there was a graphic over top of you.
God damn it, James, I quit.
As we just said, I'm James. This is
Andrew.
And this is the show Unleashed, where we unleash Star Wars onto all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful spring day. Hopefully it's not raining outside.
It's always raining.
I am keeping my curtains closed. I do not want to look outside. I have no interest in what is going on aside from
the Star Wars.
The Star Wars Last Jedi. But
you know what? I'll tell you, this weather is kind of fitting because another place that looks pretty gloomy right about now is Octo. Those are some gloomy shots we got in that Last Jedi trailer.
It is not gloomy out. It is beautiful outside. Yes, you are right. Let's talk about The Last Jedi in this trailer that we saw a month ago. A month and a week ago.
Wow.
A month and a week ago, we saw The Last Jedi from Star Wars Celebration Orlando. Where I did not get into the Star Wars show store. Whatever, we won't.
You'd still be in line.
I would still be in line if I tried. I when I went there on the last day, side Akbar here. I walked up to the line. I said, "How long?" They're like 3 to 4 hours. I said, "It is 8 and it's 10 in the morning." I got there at 7, at 10 in the morning, and I go, "But I need my speed pass. We're out." I said, "Okay, all right." And then he goes, "Just so you know, the lines will be stopped at 2:30. The show store closed at 5, and they weren't letting you back in line after 2:30 p.m." It might even have been up there. Yeah. So that is a side Akbar. Let's go into this trailer now that we saw at Star Wars Celebration. Mm-hmm. We saw it beside a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
We saw it with Sam Witwer.
And
Ashley Eckstein.
And my girl Andy Gutierrez.
Yes.
Was there.
Yes. And Anthony Carboni was there, but you did not care for him.
Nah.
You pushed him out of the way.
He's
and you
okay.
said, "Give me my girl."
He's no Andy.
But we saw it there. It was... we did a reaction on here where I actually pulled you in if you because Rob actually got a Lightspeed pass for the show store that day. That son of a gun. But I pulled you in. We did the reaction review at that time. You've had time to digest it, to possibly watch it again and again and again and again and again. Hmm. It starts off with space, but it's not space. It's a rock.
Yeah.
And Rey's hand touches it, and the camera swooshes up to her, and she's breathing heavily. Talk me through that. What do you anticipate happen leading into that moment?
She probably saw a picture of me and got really excited.
Yeah.
Because I know I would.
Oh, well, that doesn't seem like excited, but that does seem like the reaction that most people give you after they see
a picture of me. I think that is closer to the middle of the movie.
Really?
That's some kind of, she had some kind of force vision or force back or dark side tree cave encounter. Maybe she fought Kylo and it turned out she was wearing Kylo's mask. Who knows? But she had some kind of...
I hope that doesn't happen because of the Empire Strikes Back element to it.
If that happens during the whole scene, everybody would be like, no, no, no. But I hope she had some kind of encounter in her mind, something supernatural that just woke her up to the fact that, whoa, bad shit is about to happen. I need to be on my A game. Please teach me how to swing this thing properly, Mr. Bearded Man.
George Lucas?
Yeah. Oh, he's in it too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's
playing Jar Jar. What's interesting is when they shot the original trilogy, Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill himself, said to George Lucas, "Can I hold it with one hand and do all these cool things?" And George Lucas said, "No. That lightsaber is very heavy. It's Excalibur." And he kept referring it to Excalibur to Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was very upset. And then they made the prequels and everybody's flopping around with it.
Oh my God.
Now when you take this Excalibur approach to it and you apply it to The Force Awakens, it's almost like they went back to that concept.
That is true.
It's calling to Rey now, and she pulled it out of a stone.
Especially like Kylo's, the way it's got the cross guard like a broadsword. He swings it like you don't really see Kylo like he's more just like he swings it like it weighs as much as Excalibur. You're right. That's a really good point.
And it's something else side Akbar on this one too is and you really want Rey to be a Palps, but and one of the things, the telling signs that she's related to Palpatine is the way she swings her sword, her lightsaber.
That I don't.
You can't buy it because you know who else swings it like that is Luke frickin' Skywalker.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker does the exact same with his.
Yeah.
It happens. That's just how you do it when you're angry and your sword weighs 3,000 pounds. That's how it is because it's Excalibur. That I just wanted to bring that up. I wanted to point that out. I was watching Return of the Jedi the other day, and that happens. And that's just what I wanted to say. Yeah,
that scene,
because that's how Palpatine uses it. And everyone's like, "Well, Rey does the same thing." Well, shut up. That's what, but then watch that actually be the explanation
in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
I noticed you use a move against Kylo Ren.
Yeah, and it's very similar to your father's. Your father did the same move.
And nobody else has ever done it.
No one's ever done it. And by the way, here's Mace Windu. Mace, come on in. Sit down.
I'm still alive, everybody.
You're still alive. As the trailer goes on, it's all voiced by Luke Skywalker, who many people at the time did not think it was Luke Skywalker. And
yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, weird. And well, I mean, where we saw it, the atmosphere we were in, it was kind of difficult to fully. No, it wasn't. You could tell it was Luke, but you couldn't hear the other voices though. Like
you couldn't hear the background stuff at all. It was actually very low.
Yeah, it was.
We heard it.
We did, and but people that were in the auditorium where they actually had the cast in there, they were all like, "Well, this and that and blah blah blah."
Must be freaking nice to be in that auditorium.
It must have been very nice. You got a poster. Congratulations.
Yeah, you happy now?
Congratulations. Josh from the Den of Nerds got a poster.
Yay!
He said he's going to mail it over to us.
Really?
No, he didn't. I'm hoping he watches this. Like, what? No, what? No, actually, those people worked hard for that. I'm not. Like,
yeah, that's true.
They slept on concrete for 12 hours.
They
give them a poster.
They deserve to hear whispers if they sleep on concrete.
They definitely did. So let's just go right to the end of this trailer because everyone's seen this trailer a million times. They've watched every video on the trailer. So that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the time for the Jedi to end. Is it?
See, now that I think is at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I think that's Luke he's like Mickey from Rocky. He doesn't want a trainer. He's sour. He's a grouch. He's just like, I don't want to do this Jedi bullshit. I just felt my friend die through the Force.
I think you're wrong.
You think I'm wrong?
I don't think he's going to not want a trainer.
What do you think?
He's not going to want a trainer as a Jedi.
Oh, so there's something else. He's going to... You think she wants to be trained as a Jedi, but he's like, no.
You can't be trained as a Jedi because it's time for the Jedi to end. I only know one truth because of what I've learned. And what if you watch the prequels and the original trilogy, you would all know that the Jedi Order is crazy.
He gives her the 6 Blu-rays and he's like, watch these.
He's like, just watch these and tell me that it's not right. It's wrong.
She goes into a cave. She comes out an hour later. She's like, so what's the deal with that Jar Jar guy? I don't understand.
Look, Anakin kills Palpatine. Palpatine can foresee everything. Mm-hmm. What can't he foresee? His own death, right? Okay. He can't foresee that Anakin's going to pick him up and toss him because Anakin's love for his family is greater than the Force.
Right.
Of course. Right? Luke then is like, I'm not killing my father, which was just told to him by the most greatest Jedi of all time, Yoda. Just said, you have to face Vader. You got to kill him. And Obi-Wan, the second greatest one's like, look, you've got to kill him.
Yeah.
Right? And what does he not do? He takes his lightsaber and throws it. Yes, he gets it at the end of the movie, but he throws his lightsaber. He's like, no, that's not right.
You failed, Your Highness. Burn. I want to watch that movie in a room full of just like young women who are like, burn.
And that's the only one I haven't seen in the theater. Oh man. But that's what I think they're going to go with it. I think he's because the idea of him being, the Rocky thing where he doesn't want a trainer, it's almost expected and a cliche. And do you want to see that?
I wouldn't mind because it goes against what Luke is, how we know him. Like we've known him as a young naive farm boy. We've known him as a brave soldier. We've known him as a heroic Jedi, but we haven't known him as he's an optimist. We haven't known him as a pessimist, even through all the bad, crazy stuff that happened to him. So to see that side of Luke, to be like, wow, life really just kicked him into the dirt, wouldn't let him get back up, and now he doesn't even want to get back up, and Rey has to be the one to be like, get up. Like she's teaching him as much as he's going to teach her. I hope. Not about the Force, but about persevering. Because
Luke, the Force is out. Look, the Force.
Watch,
if you look at
this.
chapter 17 of the Journal of the Wills, Luke, How have you not read this? You've had this bookshelf for years. Look at this.
Because she grew up in a horrible existence. So she, more than anybody else, knows about perseverance, and she knows how to like pull herself up by her own bootstraps. So she's got to be the one, I think, to kind of pull Luke aside and be like, do you know what I went through to get here? You can't like roll over and die now. Not now. I won't let you. Not after eating freaking quarter portions for 19 years. No. Get your ass up. Teach me how to be a Jedi. Smarten up. Your friend is dead. Your sister's God knows where. We need to do something. And then he'd be like, oh, okay.
Well, we know that he trains her.
Yeah.
We know that she's gonna swing the saber around, and then the statue with Yoda on top of it, or that statue with Chewie on top of it, or that statue with Ben Quaternaros on top of it. That statue that everybody's making such a big deal about that's actually probably just a rock.
I always thought it was a rock. I didn't even see a statue that entire time.
I didn't think of it at all. And then Brock one day was like, do you think that's Chewie? And I was like, what? And then all of a sudden I went online. They're like, look, it's Yoda. It's Obi-Wan. It's Mace. It's Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's in this. Liam Neeson's coming back. He's in The Last Jedi. I doubt it. I don't think Qui-Gon can even be a Force Ghost. I think he like just missed the passing that exam.
Like a Force
didn't he?
wisp.
Yeah, he's like, no, Anakin, no. That's what Qui-Gon can be. People are weird. I think though that, like I said, I think he is going to train her, and she's going to be like, train me in the ways of the Force. He's like, I will train you in the ways of the Force, but you cannot be a Jedi. And what I actually think is happening is The Last Jedi. Luke is the last Jedi, and Rey wants to continue the Jedi, but the Jedi way is incorrect. It's not right, except it is. The Jedi Council and how the Jedi manifested itself over time lost its way and kind of lost the mark, because everyone's obsessed with this gray, but the gray is not a Jedi. The gray is the balance, and that should be, you should have to be like a Jedi or a Sith, and then find the gray matter in between after you've gone through like the trials type of thing. So I think what's actually going to happen is Luke is the last Jedi. The Jedi need to end. Blah 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 blah. I'll train you in the Force. Blah blah blah. But then Rey becomes the rebirth of the Jedi.
Right.
So it's the Jedi, but it's the
Jedi
old
2.0.
Old Republic Jedi, like
like
the first
the
type
old
of
school.
Jedi,
Yeah.
pure light Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think they might go with this.
And then there you go. There's your window to make Old Republic stories. Yeah, absolutely. That works.
You can expand on it. Otherwise, you can't just agree with me.
I know. That's
yes.
our show, everybody.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I hit my hat on the thing.
Okay.
Every time we do a show together, I hit the mic. We need to, you know what? We need to stop doing a show.
That's it. It's over. I saw a video. I think it was on Facebook. I don't know who was doing it. But it brought up such a great point about the shot where I think it's Rey's hand touching the book, the old school book, and this person just made this point where that is the first time we have ever seen paper. In the Star Wars universe. So that kind of opened up so much in my brain. I was like, oh, okay. So that means that we might see this and that and that. So I think there's going to be a lot of gateways in this film, in The Last Jedi, that tie into Old Republic things. A lot of mysteries left unanswered that don't have to do with what's happening in this trilogy. So it's not like a who is Snoke kind of mystery. It's just like a, who's that statue, Luke? Like, oh, that was, Ben Quaternaros Sr. He did a lot of great things. Moving on. And then we'll get movies about Ben Quaternaros Sr. back in the day.
I don't know why you have to tease me. Because we're not going to get Ben Quaternaros Sr.
We might.
But you know that that's what I'm waiting for.
See, right now you're thinking like episode 8 pessimist Luke. You got to think like episode 5 optimist Luke.
See, I'm going to make this interesting. I'm going to disagree. I really don't think he's going to be pessimistic. I think he's going to say, look, this is the harsh truth. The Jedi can't succeed. I knew they couldn't succeed, but my nephew Ben really, he had these skills and he knew, and there was something up with him, and I thought maybe I could train him. But you can't train people in the ways of the Force. Just not how it is, because wherever there's good, there's evil, and you can't do it. You have to find the balance. So I cannot train you as a Jedi, but I can teach you how to use your powers.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense because
Damn it, you gotta disagree.
it makes sense. But I think that he's got to get to that point first.
Well,
I think Luke is going to have an arc in the movie too. I don't think
yes,
his
he's gonna have
mindset,
an-
his mindset like after the crawl is not going to be the same as his mindset 3/4 of the way into the movie.
I like the crawl that we came up with on the May the 4th be with you episode where Luke Skywalker has died. And we're like, what? What? That trailer was a misdirect. I was out of it. You know, we go back to the trailer. The trailer for The Force Awakens showed the first quarter of the film only. What are the odds that this is just the first quarter of The Last Jedi? They're not showing us anything past a certain point.
I think the odds are good. Besides the shot of Kylo Ren with the lightsaber, I think is later. But everything else, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the first 15 minutes. I don't know, Rey running. It looked like she was running to a fight. That could be a little bit later.
There has been the rumor that early on the Knights of Ren find the island.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not expecting them to stay on Acto for a long time.
Well, also that shot is so inconsequential. Like, I mean, it's probably like a big deal in the movie, but in the trailer, it's like she's running. So even if that is the last scene, the last frame, it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah, she could be jogging for all
because they're not. Yeah, they're not exactly. She could just be going for her morning stroll.
Yeah,
but they never reveal what's happening around her. It's a close up of her face running.
Right.
So really, you could pick that out of any part of the film and be like, well, we'll show you that because it's a cool looking shot. The lighting is cool.
I'm curious about because I remember hearing, and Josh brought it up too on Den of Nerds, about we're getting 3 planets from the old movies in The Last Jedi. We're getting Endor, Mustafar, and I can't remember the third one. Is Tatooine the third? Oh, I'm so excited!
It's all a rumor. We also mentioned it on the Rebel Scum podcast.
Yeah,
if you would have listened
on
to
that other show.
On the one you only watch the ones that you're like Brock. If you're not on a show, you don't watch it. You're like, this is garbage.
Like, what are we doing again? Okay, so I totally forgot that it was Tatooine. The third one kept slipping my mind. That's really exciting.
What are your thoughts on Crate? The new planet Crate.
The first time I heard it, I thought of the Crate dragons.
The first time. Interesting.
Yeah.
The first time that we heard of it was at Celebration when Brock and I were doing a day recap, and it was actually the day 2 recap, and you and Rob were on your phones behind us, like, and then all of a sudden, this is what I see. I look over, and you guys are like. And I'm like, I don't have a phone on me. I'm trying, and then I think Rob came up and he was look, and we're like, it's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry.
That was my favorite shot of the trailer.
Oh,
was the smoke coming off of the fighters there. I was like, this looks like what I want it to look like. I don't know what Crate's deal is. I don't know what's happening there. I don't think it's where Snoke is.
No.
I don't want it to be where Snoke. I want Snoke to be on Moraband. Or
no, I say like I would like that too, but I don't know if it's tough because you know what that is. I know what that is, but your parents don't know what that is. My parents don't know what that is. But at the same time, like, it doesn't matter. They don't know what Jakku is.
Exactly. We didn't know Jakku till we saw Jakku. So, and really, there was only one little thing of Moraband in the Clone Wars, and we didn't even explore the planet that much.
I kind of want Snoke to just be on his own ship.
Oh.
Because then, well, if he's not from this galaxy, if he's from the unknown regions, or if he is a fallen will, or if he is whatever, he doesn't have a home in this galaxy. So maybe a ship, maybe the Eclipse. Wouldn't it be cool if he was living on the Eclipse?
That would be cool. It's ballsy, though, because, I mean, a ship can be easily blown up.
Yeah, but Snoke is ballsy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He sits on a throne, apparently, because you're going to get that Black Series.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Victor Snoke, the Black Series.
Victor Snoke in his robe. So I'm assuming it's going to be like a big box, too, like the size of this mic. Because he's, 9 feet, apparently?
Yeah, I think it's 9 feet. And he's going to be like a puppet. Or like
so is that taller than Chewie? Chewie's 7 feet, right?
Yeah, he'll be tall.
Okay, so he's right now the biggest Black Series I have is a Wampa, which is like a little bit bigger than Chewie. So Snoke's gonna tower over that Wampa.
That Wampa is actually one of the nicest Black Series around.
It's great, yeah. So
it's better than Poe Dameron's eyes. It was the worst paint job on anything. I looked at that. I was like, what? Like, just shift it, shift over.
Good to meet you, Poe.
What do you think Poe Dameron's going to be doing in this? We see him run.
He's going to do a lot of running. I'm assuming that the whole movie is just people running.
Yeah, well, that's The Last Jedi. That's what you would think.
Yeah.
The next one is called Stop Running.
Stop running.
Star Wars Stops Running.
He's gonna be doing his own thing with BB-8 and with Finn and with Rose ? Because I don't trust her yet. She's too cute. She's too bubbly. I smell First Order spy.
What? Okay. I know you really are a big fan of the three factions.
Mm-hmm.
What if she is? Let's say there are three factions, and it's Benicio del Toro, Snoke, and the good guys. We don't know. Benicio del Toro might be a good guy, but what if she is that? What if she's Benicio del Toro's like spy?
Tight. I'm on board. I'm on board. And then, she could like lead them to him, where it's like a situation where they're on the run from whatever, and it's like, oh, we got to find a place to land and regroup. And she's like, oh, I know a guy, he might be able to help us. And then they go to this planet, and then it turns out he's like, I will help you. I am Benicio del Toro, but first you want to bow to me. I don't know what he's gonna be like. I hope he has a lightsaber. I really do. But yeah, I'm on board.
I hope we get a lightsaber duel in this film that is on par with a prequel lightsaber duel in terms of, now look, the original trilogy, they're great, but they're not as acrobatic because they couldn't be.
No.
And you can love them for that if you want. I don't care. But The Force Awakens did not have a great lightsaber. I think it was fun. It was exactly what it should have been.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
it wasn't the highlight of the movie like
no.
the Faith
We
was.
did one of our first things. We did top 5 lightsaber fights, and it didn't make it in there because it's just not. It is what it is. I mean, but it also makes sense because Rey doesn't really know how to use it, and his thing is falling apart.
Yeah.
I really hope we get something in this one with Rey and Kylo now. I really hope that there's like they're jumping around, flipping, fun, like your Pirates of the Caribbean. I really hope it's fun like that. Just make it swashbuckling fun, and that's what they could do that now. Now you've established everything.
Because I think I've mentioned on the show before how I rewrote like my own version of Phantom Menace,
Which we will be doing
eventually, and I also started Clones. I haven't finished Clones yet, but in Clones I have a 3-way lightsaber fight. 3 different people with 3 different agendas in a fight.
Those 3 people are Anakin, Dooku, Sebulba.
You have one of them right.
Anakin?
No.
Oh, Dooku.
Yeah.
So Dooku, Yoda, and Obi-Wan?
No. Do you want me to say it, or do you want me to keep it a surprise?
Whatever. Say it. Nobody watches this. I'm just trying. Now we're going to get a comment. I watched this. You are?
It's Dooku.
Nope.
Windu.
Yeah.
And Maul.
See, that's a good tease. That's a good tease.
And it looks cool. Purple, white, and red. They look cool.
Well, we're going to be reading it, so you have to get glow sticks of those colors.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah. That's what you're going to have to do. How did the Force Awakens trailer, how did the Last Jedi trailer leave you? Were you satisfied with what you saw, or did you hope to see maybe a little bit more?
I was hoping for more because I remember hearing a lot that it was because it was so late in the game that we're getting this trailer compared to how we got Force Awakens, that it was going to be a full trailer, not a teaser. And this was a teaser. In every sense of the word, it was a teaser. So by the end of it, obviously I'm excited. I'm standing next to a TIE fighter with all of you guys, and we're like, oh my God, Luke just talked and we saw his face. There's smoke coming off that ship. But, I was just like, oh, that's it, huh? I was hoping for just one more little pop, like a Chewie We're Home pop, just something at the end.
Well,
like, oh!
I think that's what this time for the Jedi to end was supposed to be. The problem, I think, with us is we're so invested in the franchise that we all kind of knew that that's where it was going.
Yeah.
So the Chewie We're Home moment we never had because we kind of knew that that's what he was. Like when he said it, I nodded. I'm like, yeah, okay. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what we thought because Disney's been pushing the gray on us and the Bendu and all that. I'm like, yeah, okay, I totally get this. Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from on this. So I felt a little bit empty as well when it ended. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I might have also been too overwhelmed with everything as well. Like,
we lined up to watch that for what, 3 hours?
4 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. We were there for 5 hours before we saw it.
Jesus.
Like the day before was that first day of celebration where I was so overwhelmed and consumed with everything. Like it just took. I had my emotions for the first day I had none. because I was just so like, there's so much going on, and I didn't know what to take from it, and we were in line for like 3 hours that day too to get in, and it just the whole experience. And then the next day we went to bed late, we woke up early, and it was just there was so much going on that I saw it, and it almost couldn't. It almost couldn't meet what I needed it to meet at the time because of not like if I would have stayed home and watched it, it probably would have had a completely different impact on me. But because of where we were and how it all went down, it was like I don't know where I stand on this.
I know, yeah. It was. I was very happy with it. I was expecting a pop moment at the end. I was expecting like a Chewie we're home or like Spider-Man at the end of the Civil War trailer. I was expecting something like that to be like, oh shit, like the other shoe just dropped now.
It kind of would have been cool if and it might not happen in the film. So let's keep that in mind when I say this. But if it ends, it's time for the Jedi to end. Last Jedi comes up, and then you just see the green laser goes.
See, yeah, that would have.
Right? Like, we don't. Like, he might not even use his lightsaber in the film. So that's a good reason why it's not in there. Also, maybe it happens very later on. They don't want to give that away because they want you to believe he's not going to be using his lightsaber. Because he could be like The Rock in The Rundown and be like, I don't use weapons anymore. And then at the end, he's like, the only way to get rid of this mofo, like Yoda in Attack of the Clones, right, is he's got to put. And you're like, so. You don't want to get that.
They didn't spoil Yoda in the trailers, did they?
After it came out and people weren't enjoying it, they did. After it came out, all the trailers were Yoda man, and it was like Yoda fighting. That's what the trailers turned into. But at the beginning, no. But if you were on the Force.net at the time, the Force.net ruined the prequels for a majority because they're so good. Like, they knew everything at the time. So
thankfully that didn't get spoiled for me, and I was on Force.net like all the time.
I was there. Me and my roommate would be there all the time. I was on the chat rooms chatting it up, and. Yeah, that got spoiled for me. I knew that was happening, but most people didn't know. So when it happened, and then they had to throw in the trailer or the commercial. But it was after it came out. It wasn't like before the movie. If you didn't see it in time, then it's your fault. This is why you should go see it now. If you haven't seen it, this is why. So I think you could get Luke in that respect. Mm-hmm. But what do you think? Do you think he's going to use do you think he will use the lightsaber?
Yes, not just because I want him to, which I do, but it's too much of something that we really, really, really want to see that I think it would be unwise on their part not to put it in somehow.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the story comes first over our wants and needs. That's what takes the priority. So make your story as good as it can possibly be. But it's not that hard to work a part into the story where Luke's like, hey, fool, back off. So...
But I think if he does that and it happens very later on, or if it only happens once, then you don't put that in.
Absolutely. And I like what you're saying about keep building up to it. Like, have this movie. I'm imagining this is going to be a long movie.
I would imagine 2.5.
I'm imagining longer than Force Awakens for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think much longer. I think they want to keep it in that realm of we can have multiple shows. Yeah, I think that's like the business part is going to still.
Yeah. But
I hope it's 4 hours.
I know, same. I want a 3.5 hour movie. I don't care.
And then I want the 4 hour director's cut, like the Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God,
that's what I want.
Please.
So no one listens to us, Andrew.
But I because of how much stuff is being packed into this movie, I'm imagining it's very long. So I'm imagining there's a long process of Luke involved in conflicts, using the Force, whatever, but he's never touching his sword. And then at some point, He'll have to. And that's when everybody is going to lose their freaking mind.
He could be doing like Force stuff with Snoke. And then Snoke's like, enough. And he pulls out his 12-foot long lightsaber. And then Luke's like, oh, guess what? This is Qui-Gon's crystal in here, buddy. Qui-Gon, Spirit of Qui-Gon attack.
He just keeps shooting like see-through pictures of Liam Neeson at him. My lightsaber has a very particular set of skills, Mr. Snoke.
Do you think that we will see anyone talking to a woman's razor in the next two movies? A la Qui-Gon Jinn in The Phantom Menace.
No. I think any cross-distance communication is going to happen via physical likeness hologram.
Let's go watch a Star Wars movie right now. What Star Wars movie are you putting on?
You're talking about on the TV or in the theater?
Like here, right now. Like I'm like, here's 7, 8 discs. Which one are you putting on?
I kind of want to watch The Force Awakens again.
You can't take time. Here's your discs. Which one are you putting on?
Force Awakens.
Really? Yeah. The last movie you're ever gonna watch?
The last movie I'm ever gonna watch?
Yep.
Like I'm gonna die?
Yeah, because of the movie.
To be honest, if it was gonna be the last movie I'm ever gonna watch, I would put in Back to the Future.
No, it's gotta be Star Wars. Oh my god. Back to the Future though? That's come on.
Maybe Attack of the Clones?
Back to the Future? Yeah, I'm still on that. I like Back to the Future and all, but the last movie you're ever gonna watch is
that was the first movie I ever watched, so I want to have.
Oh, so you want a book? Okay,
it's like poetry.
I knew you were gonna. I'll go with the Phantom Menace today. Actually, it changes every day. Today I'm like, I just want to watch Phantom Menace.
I'm actually doing a thing. I kept making my mom promise that she would do this, because I'm on my mom's side. I'm Maltese, and Maltese is a really funny language. So I told my mom.
Isn't it like 7 different languages?
It's like Italian, Arabic, and like French and Spanish like rolled into one thing. But I told my mom, I was like, okay, sometime later this week, I think on the 19th, I'm gonna put on A New Hope and we're gonna translate it into Maltese. I'm gonna like keep pausing it and be like, okay, what did he just say? And say it in Maltese, and I'm gonna write it down.
Can you just record it? I want to hear it.
I'll like record myself saying it, but it's gonna be hilarious. I can't wait to do that.
I can't wait to. Yeah, I want to witness that as well. We should do one of your shows in Maltese. You should learn.
It doesn't sound pretty. If anybody out there has a crush on us, that will end after that video.
Moving back to The Force Awakens, or the Last Jedi, we see Finn in that tube thing, whatever he is. It looks like the tube from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory that the fat kid gets sucked up.
Oh yeah,
he's in that tube. That's what I don't know why. I just want chocolate. Finn's gonna have a big part in this film. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves Finn. How can you not like Finn?
I know, Finn's awesome.
The only pin I was able to freaking get was the Finn pin from Sphero because no one knew where Sphero was. We won't get into my Star Wars Celebration angst. Anyway, Finn back to tank, stronger than ever. No force. Do you think he'll have force powers? The answer is no. And back to tank strength, though. Do you think he will have like superhuman type strength, almost like not superhuman, but enhanced strength because of the back to tank?
No, we saw Luke get dipped in Bacta, and that didn't do anything to him. I always saw Finn as a guy who was already like above the curve in terms of strength because he's a soldier. He's a stormtrooper. He's got to, if he loses his gun, he loses his armor. He's got to be able to break some necks, out there on the field for the First Order. So I think that we saw John Boyega train. I mean, that guy's a big guy. That guy's buff. So I think he's going to be the muscle, teaming up with Poe, going off doing adventures, whatever. He's a soldier. He probably knows some like space Krav Maga that we don't know about, and he's gonna work his magic on Phasma. He's gonna like snap her neck or something. I don't know, but I don't think the Bacta is going to play a part in that. I think this is something that he's already been conditioned with.
Yeah, I agree, and I also don't understand when people get upset when they say, well, he's just got to be a Jedi. Well, he can't just be a good soldier. Why not? Han Solo had no force powers, and he's my favorite character. Why can't Finn be Han Solo? Like, be a character that's just strong. A strong character doesn't need to wield. Not everybody has to be force sensitive in Star Wars.
Trust
not
me,
everybody should be.
You dilute the series so much if you keep throwing the Force and lightsabers at everybody.
I did think it was a cool idea when the first rumor came out about The Force Awakens, that The Force Awakens actually meant that people in the galaxy, the Force was awakening within a bunch of people, and people were just all of a sudden like, oh my god, I've got the Force. That idea I could actually get behind, and then I could see Finn force sensitive. But because it didn't go that route, I don't want to see Finn force sensitive. I want to see Finn be a soldier who defected from the propaganda that he was being fed and then now joined the resistance. That's what I want to see, and I'm totally fine with that.
That's so much richer than just, I only did all of this because I have the Force.
Yeah, why? Like, nobody's skilled in Star Wars. Everyone has to have the Force. Yeah. Everyone's got to have the Force except for Rey. Very quickly, is Rey using the Force so easily and quickly going to be resolved in The Last Jedi?
Parts of it, yeah. I think that knowing JJ, because I did watch Lost religiously, I think that we're supposed to put 2 and 2 together ourselves. And I really think that the mind trick especially came from her like tug of war with Kylo.
Which and that's what everybody is assuming and guessing, and I would be on the same boat. The problem is we've never seen that in Star Wars before. So why would that happen?
We've never seen Force interrogation either.
No, but you're saying he wants you to put two and two together. Why would you put two and two together if you've never been exposed to that before? There's no reason for your mom watching this in Maltese. There's no reason for her to think that would be the case. Do you know what I mean? Because we've never been set up for that in the past.
That's
whereas
right.
Force interrogation you can kind of understand because of the Force, whereas unlocking Force sensitivity,
You're right, but it's like people like our moms won't really. I don't think any of our moms are going on about Rey being a Mary Sue. So I think that they don't really care. They're just like, oh, she's one of those Jedis. Neat. They see she's got power in her, and remember, we see her struggle with the mind trick too. It doesn't come to her naturally.
Well, where does she even learn how to do a mind trick? That above all else is my problem with that scene. I don't care that she could do it. Just tell me where someone taught her how to do this. That's my one real issue with that scene. And I love the scene. It's a great scene. Daniel Craig's fantastic. We have a show called Scum. But I'm just saying,
it could be like legend. I mean,
yeah.
Jabba says to Bib Fortuna, he says, "You fool, Luke's using an old Jedi mind trick on you." He says it as if it's something that's kind of in the popular vernacular, like, "Oh, you idiot, he's using the old, Italian double shuffle on you," like something that we.
You just want everyone to know what your heritage is.
I know, right? Look me up.
Fantasia.
So it could be some, she knows, she's heard Luke Skywalker's name, even though she thinks he's a myth. Maybe she's heard of Jedi. Maybe, that could be like a saying where, the etymology kind of got lost in translation, but it could be a saying in the galaxy where when you fool somebody, it's like, wow, you really pulled a Jedi mind trick on that guy. Like, even if it's just like you used cunning to kind of make somebody, like Han Solo tricked somebody into thinking that he won a hand of cards. It's like, oh, Han Solo practically Jedi mind tricked that guy. Like, it could be something just in the popular culture of the galaxy that she knows about. And she's like, okay, shit, I'm tied up. I know Jedis exist now. This guy just tried to use the dark side of the Force to break my brain, and I pushed back. I think I have this. I touched that lightsaber, and I found Force memories. I think I have a lot of stuff in me. Let me see if that's a real thing. Hey, undo these restraints and leave the cell with the door open. And then, she eventually got it.
Yeah, you still have to explain it. Like, you don't have to explain it. You have to explain what you just explained.
Yeah.
That it's a myth going around, which I'm fine with that. It's just like that was the one point when I watched Force Awakens that I said, wait a second. No. Because Luke can't even do it until the exact same scene plays out in Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
It's word for word. So she's Luke's daughter, confirmed.
You heard it here first.
You
probably.
heard it here first. How would you feel if she's Luke's daughter?
A little bit disappointed.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you want the Palpatine thing too
I want
much.
the Palpatine thing.
See, I personally would prefer Luke over Palpatine.
Yeah.
As her lineage. Yeah, because the Palpatine thing, I don't know. And don't hate me when I say it, but I feel like it's almost empty.
How so?
I don't know. I just want to hear it. I'm like, it's empty. I don't really have an explanation other than Palpatine's a great villain, and he did a lot of good in terms of bad. But he's done. Like, I feel like that.
He's done.
That's what. But I feel like that whole like he had 6 movies. Like, he's done.
Yeah.
Well, he had 5 movies. He's not in one.
That's
But
right.
he's done, and the story to progress does not need to go back to that well. Why not go to a different well?
It's not so much about going back to the well. It's what it does to
I say
Rey.
well, but then Luke is still going back to the well.
Right.
Yeah, I know what it does to Rey, but
So,
it's
If Luke is her father, I'm cool with that. Just make sure that it does something interesting on a personal level to him, and it does something interesting on a personal level to Rey. Otherwise,
I think if she is Luke's, it will enhance her more than Luke. I don't think it will even be a blip on our Luke scale. Like, when I saw The Force Awakens, I thought from the minute I first heard of Rey, I thought she was Luke's daughter right away. I thought the movie was going to end with her meeting Luke and saying father. That's how I thought it was going to end. And it was going right up to that point, and I was like, and Rob is beside me in the theater, and I guessed like 80% of this movie. And Rob turned to me and goes, and then she didn't say it, and I was like, close. So at that point, though, when I left, a friend of mine texted me and said, so that's Luke's daughter. And I was like, no, it can't be, because you just took that guess. Because you guessed it, you're not going to be the only one to guess it. And because everyone guessed it, it can't be anymore. It's got to be somebody else. And then Daisy Ridley said she thought it was obvious. And if it's obvious, there's only 3 obvious answers. There are 3 obvious answers. Luke, Han, or nobody and her parents are dead. That's like, she could just be BSing, which I'm not even throwing that out either. Like, but if you think about it, if it's obvious, who's obvious to you?
Yeah, Luke, Han, or nobody.
Or nobody.
See, I don't know. That comment is weird. I don't know.
It is weird. I hate Daisy Ridley so much. I'm boycotting all of her movies except for Star Wars and Murder on the Orient Express.
Everything else?
Everything else I am not going to go see. I'm not even going to see the Tomb Raider movie she's not in.
Oh, yeah, she was up for that.
Yeah, she was. And now I'm not seeing it anyway out of spite. No, I mean, yeah, that comment is strange, but she said it again. And I heard her say it again. The next time, like, at first I thought she was just saying she thought it was obvious. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, but of course it's obvious to you. But then the next time she said it, she goes, I don't know. I always thought it was obvious. And that time I was like, oh, she really thought it was obvious. But the only obvious things you see are everyone thought that she was Luke's daughter, except for diehard fans of it. But just the general movie-going audience came out of that. The people that weren't like, well, we got to take the people that just went inside, they were like, that's Luke's daughter. And I look at it, and when I look at it with blank eyes, I'm like, well, she's Han's daughter, because Han keeps looking at her the whole time, offers her a job. He wants her close by him. He wants to be with her, unless it's his niece, right? The only thing is, if it's Han or Luke's, Chewie gives her no indication of anything, and right, like a dog would, right? So there's got to be nobody then.
We could be misconstruing the way she said that line too. I mean, what if she's recognizing the fact that she was incorrect, but she's saying, back then I thought it was obviously Luke's daughter, but I'm wrong now. Like, what if she was, we did.
Yeah, but the second time she says it so assured. Like, you have to hear her tone. It's almost like, yeah, I just thought it was obvious. She's like, it's obvious. It was more like, it's obvious. Is it? Because it's not, because we haven't guessed it. But
it's definitely not obvious, or everybody in the world would be like, yeah, we know.
Unless it's so obvious that it is Luke's daughter, like everybody thinks it is, except for the diehards who want it to be Palpatine, who want it to be Snoke, who want it to be this. And so we're overlooking it, whereas if you just look at it on face value, it's like, well, obviously it's Luke's daughter, and why was she abandoned on Jakku? And then we're going to learn why she was abandoned on Jakku.
Yeah, to be fair, that's probably the question we should be asking.
Yeah.
Is why was she like?
Yeah, and that's where the obvious answer is her parents are nobodies that are dead, probably, because the actual question is, why was she left on Jakku?
Yeah.
Star Wars. We could do a whole podcast on Star Wars.
Oh my God!
We could. All right, let's wrap this thing up with what takeaways you have from the trailer that you think, what do you want to see in The Last Jedi, and what takeaways do you have from the trailer?
The trailer, if it tells me anything, the trailer tells me that this movie is going to have a lot of big moments that it can't spoil in trailers, because of how scant that trailer was. I remember, again, to go back to Lost, I remember when Lost season 6 was coming out, and everybody was like, where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? And the showrunners were like, we can't really put together a trailer because every frame is a spoiler right now. So I feel like it's gonna be something along those lines where they're really careful with what they're showing us. So I feel like if you were disappointed by this trailer, you're not going to be disappointed by the movie at all.
Yeah, and I don't think the trailer was disappointing. I think it was, if anything, underwhelming. But it is a really well put together trailer with the little nuances here and there. Like, you hear Obi-Wan, you hear Leia, and you hear Yoda. You hear those voices in there. Are they in there for a reason, or are they just in there for ambiance? Which is where I'm going to go with it. I think it's more for the ambiance. Like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, when you see Leia. They want you to remember Leia and who she is, and now she needs help because her husband's dead. And I really would like to see Obi-Wan in this film. I don't know if we're going to, and I don't know if it makes sense to see Obi-Wan in the film because I don't know anything. I don't know enough about it. I don't want to be like, put Obi-Wan in. I really want Anakin to come back because I really want, and I've said this on the show many times, I really want Anakin to be the center of the whole Skywalker saga. And when Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm call it the Skywalker saga, I hope that, and I really think they're referring to Anakin Skywalker. That's what I think. I think it's Anakin Skywalker saga. Luke is a part of that. Leia is a part of that. Shmi is a huge part of that. But you know what I mean? Like, Anakin is the center of it. He was the chosen one, and everything about him is what's causing this saga to go on.
Exactly.
That's where I stand on that.
And I also want to see, I really want to see Leia use the Force. Whether it's to defend herself or I want to see her lift her hand and make something happen with magic. That's all I ask.
That, I have no idea if that will happen. It would be cool.
She's a Skywalker, man. She's got it.
But she chose not to go into Jedi and to go into politics.
She chose not to go into Jedi, but Luke's not training Rey to be a Jedi either, right?
Anything's possible, but one thing we know for sure is that will not happen in Episode 9. So this is the problem. The problem. Carrie Fisher passed away, and so whatever plans they had for her in Episode 9 obviously can't come to fruition. So if she's not going to have that, she's not going to have a meet and greet with Luke Skywalker again. If they're not going to have that embrace, we're never going to get that embrace, which is disappointing. Because I really think, and Mark Hamill even said this himself, is they really, when they just killed Han Solo without that, they really kind of stole a moment from Luke. And that's why if he ends up being Rey's father, then you've stolen another moment in the film. These are big moments. And that you really, like Luke and Han and Leia, there should be a reuniting of them. And now Han you can never reunite because of storytelling, whereas Leia's a completely different thing. And if they don't reunite, then you have to say, well, I accept it because of this. But Han, I think they missed an opportunity.
Yeah, with Leia, they have no choice. With Han, they had the opportunity.
Yeah, and with Han, they're like, screw it. But again, for the story, sure, Han needed to die. And also, Harrison Ford's not coming back.
No. I don't mind that we didn't get to see the big three together again. Like, you're right from a story perspective, but that's why I would totally rule out Han being Rey's father, because you're right. It steals that.
Yeah, that moment is like
it's pointless now.
Yeah, and then so either she's a Skywalker or she's a Luke's daughter or she's a nobody and her parents are dead. And that's the one I think is the easiest to tell.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Not the easiest to tell, but it could be the most interesting one. Also, my rabbit's eating your water bottle.
Oh, that's what that noise is.
Yeah. All right, guys, this has been Unleashed. We were talking The Last Jedi. Remember, The Last Jedi is Finn. I'm James. You can find me at Petsafina on Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation 4, where you can kick my butt at Battlefront. Where can everybody find you, Andrew?
I think you're crazy. The Last Jedi was Aunt Beru. You can find me at Andrew Fantasia on Facebook.
Beru was not a Jedi.
Oh, well,
Uncle Owen.
She was really good at cooking, so she must have the Force. How else are you going to cook
that milk
onions?
wasn't even blue when she got it.
No. She used the light side to turn it blue, just like a lightsaber crystal. Because apparently that happens now, too. You can find me at Andrew Fantasia on Facebook and on Twitter. That's like Twitter, but it's lighter.
The rabbit is attacking your water bottle. That's all for this episode of Unleashed. May the force of others be with you.
Sometimes.
You are not Brock.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.